All right, good day, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Live the Fuel show. We are out in the barn, and it is a return of another Men of Mindset. So for those of you who've listened to this show before, or you've heard in a Men of Mindset episode, there's never any editing, and whatever said is said, and it's all about truth. But the whole point of me starting these events is to get men much smarter than me and better looking than me into a room and hang out, and maybe we'll share some genius that you'll be listening to when you listen to this episode. So it's really Mike. Yeah. So we got some new faces. We had some new faces earlier as well. Shout out to Justin Shank. He made it up from Reading, Pennsylvania, an hour away, but he wanted to get home. You know, he's got a wife, he's got kids. It's a whole thing. And then also another shout out at the beginning of the show, Rob Eschbach making an appearance. He's got some family stuff going on, and we're sending healing thoughts and prayers to his daughter. And looks like it's going to be fine, but they got to work through it in the next couple of days. So quick tag to Mike here. He said some kind words. So without further ado, we're just going to dive right in. So obviously, have you ever been on a podcast, Mike?
No. On a podcast?
A podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Not your podcast.
I know. We got to fix that. It's okay. Yeah. So we got to get Chris on too, because Chris is an author, and you don't have to be an author to be on my show, but and I need to get you on. So, and I've had multiple chiropractors on. So let's real quick, because this gets out of control really, really fast. We already saw you, Mike. Tell the audience who you are.
Mike McCool, aka Mike Mack, commercial realtor with the James Valley Property Group, Keller Williams. Career number 2. Spent 22 years in the field of education.
Which I learned that tonight. I did not know that you're with DRF. So,
special ed teacher, supervisor of special education, assistant principal, director of operations, director of special education. Done.
Sure?
Nah.
Okay.
So, man.
That's many hats.
Once an educator, always an educator. But, I'll maybe circle back to it at some point, teach at the higher level. But definitely.
And now an epic real estate guru.
Now, thank you. Trying to, yes.
I follow you.
I follow you too.
Oh, thank you. I feel so fancy.
Yes.
It was like stalkers.
So let's go clockwise. Chris has been here before, but we never got a chance to fire up the recording. Yes. And I will tell you, because I've mentioned cigars before too, Ed's been here before. Every time we've tried to do cigars, Ed runs out of time too. So the whole point of this event is we never know how it's going to unravel. I'm always trying to work on timing. In the end, I just let it flow.
This is a smokeless podcast.
Yeah, we get to it. So, but go ahead and catch everybody up on yourself, sir.
Chris Saraceno. I'm the vice president and partner with the Kelly Automotive Group. We have 8 dealerships between Pennsylvania and Florida. Author of The Theory of 5, involved in real estate. Also a father of 4, now a grandfather of 8.
Grandfather of 8.
Of 8, yes.
Okay. Lineage continues.
Yes.
High achiever.
The theory of 8.
Yes.
I like it. All right, well, and you and I got connected thanks to Brad's technically one-time event, and that's how Mike and I got reconnected. I had forgotten that he and I knew each other from the CrossFit
Which I thought was an awesome event. That's how we met each other.
Unite and Conquer was an awesome event.
Yes.
I still have my notepad from that, and I run a very clean office, but I was just very inspired by that because I grew up on G.I. Joe, and the branding and the color scheme as a sales and marketing professional.
The shaker bottle.
Dude,
the shaker bottle.
It was right there. I was like, let's go. So thank you, Chris. Thank you for coming back. And yes, I also have his book. So again, ladies and gentlemen, check that out, Theory of 5. Highly recommend that. We'll have to talk more about it.
There's actually 3 books. There's a Theory of 5 book. There's Theory of 5 workbook. There's a Theory of 5 daily planner.
Oh, so you did actually execute on all 3 phases.
I need the planner.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
And a Theory of 5 growth series
Okay.
on theory-of-5.com.
I'm slacking. I only got the book. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So, yeah. Well, Jesse?
Yeah. Jesse Dugan. I'm a chiropractor in Allentown. My practice is called Pain to Performance. Instagram handle @P2P Chiro. If you want to check and see what I'm about. I kind of incorporate all different kinds of rehab exercises, soft tissue modalities, as well as chiropractic adjustments to try and provide my patients the best care.
Yeah. And again, we'll shout that back to Rob. I got connected to you because of the gym and because of your chiro care. And my wife already knew who you were too, because she's a member of that facility as well. And you're one of the few chiropractors that I know and now follow that knows how to lift weights.
Yeah.
So that's
Imagine that.
And looks like you lift weights.
yes, exactly. And then thanks to tonight's evening, I also met Oni here thanks to Rob's grand opening, which you're connected to. And that's how I connected to you. And then we kept trying to align schedules, just like trying to get Justin up here and So that's why we talked and texted. I was like, dude, next meta mindset. Rob's like, yeah, he's got to make it. I was like, okay, we'll see how it happens. So, sir, catch everybody up on yourself.
I'm just a man. It's Oni Moma, like Tony without the T. You said second career. I don't know how many careers I've been through, but the main career that I went through is a football player from bottom to top, all the way professionally. From retirement, you go into entrepreneurship. And then from the recession, you go into another degree and finish off with my doctorate.
Yes.
And now I own a psychiatric practice in New York and New Jersey.
My man.
And 27 practitioners deep, about a couple dozen therapists. We're doing well. We see a couple 100,000 a year of patients.
I just
Whole
learned something
time.
new. So
Yeah.
there you go.
It's hidden gem over here. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yes.
So, well,
just a
I
guy.
have been following him, so I did learn a little bit, and because I actually dual majored in psychology, I love psychology, and I'm a big, obviously, meta mindset. But even the tagline for the show is "We fuel your health, business, and lifestyle." But as I approach 500 shows over 10 years, it's like mindset has always been a part of out there, and it just has come up so many times over 10 years on this show from either psych, your niche. I can't even get it out of my mouth right now.
Psychiatry, yep.
Psychiatry versus psychology. Yes, there's a difference. You guys can prescribe, etc. But it's just around positive mindset, right? Surrounding yourself with the right people, like this evening here, right? Bringing together people. That's where it was funny. I was thinking about this week driving back from upstate New York yesterday, and I was up there on business north of Albany, road trip and a half. It's like 4.5 hours up there.
It's a hike.
And that's the cool thing about what I do is I travel. I don't fly a lot. I just drive. I'm like, yeah, I'll just road
It's
trip.
a scenic drive, though. It's not.
Exactly. But also I'm a voracious consumer of content, right? So I don't listen to the radio when I drive my car. That business car, that Highlander out there is all podcasts, all audiobooks. I call it Windshield University because if I can't physically get myself around people to absorb, I need to surround myself with that. So I'm a big advocate for that because it does change your mindset. It does. You can literally reprogram those synapses, right?
100%.
So that's why I was like, I don't have time to go to Texas. I am stalking this one getaway. It's a guy's thing, and they go drive around Hummers, and you can shoot 50 cows. That does sound fun. I mean, just to do that once in my life. But I was like, well, what if I created a men's thing? Even if it's in my little old barn, and people enjoy a conversation, enjoy some quality meats, and like tonight, there were so many connections, just me just walking around and listening to everything. It was super fun.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you guys, I'm like, hey, I know it's getting late, but I'm like, if we just fire up the mics for a little bit, it's no big deal. You don't have to, but if people can benefit from our words, even if it's only 10 minutes or 20 minutes versus an hour, it doesn't matter. I myself I'm proof of that. I've benefited from people's words who chose a time to sit down and record, whether it be a book or audiobook or a podcast or nowadays YouTube University, So
One thing
does
that
help.
you said, men of mindset. And when I think of mindset is essentially what I tell my patients. It's the words you tell yourself, the story you play in your head, how you view yourself. Talking to everybody here, everybody's mindset is essentially of growth, and surrounding yourself with people like this. Oof, I need to be here more often. I'll tell you that right now, because I talk to patients all the time. It's a lot of gleaning on me, a lot of transference on me. And then on the weekends, I try to take a break. And then that's when I hang out with my kids. I got a boy and a girl. Hang out with my kids, try to be that father role. It's my second job, my first job, really. And be that person. And a lot of men, they don't have a place to have that growth mindset, that men of mindset. So thank you for inviting me. I really
Well,
appreciate
I'm glad you're connecting on that because, again, that's some of that underlying principles of this evening is that we're all old enough to know that I was already working. I graduated high school in 95. So I already had 2-3 jobs at that age, and I was going to school. But this is pre.com, right? We're talking about bulletin boards and AOL and all the stuff back then.
You got mail, yeah.
But the advancements of tech just since 1995 to 2025 last year, right? It's crazy. And exponentially faster, so much more stuff, but it doesn't change, I feel, the underlying principles of people getting together and connecting physically in
There's
person.
no substitution for human
Right?
connection.
100%.
Well, think of this. Well, probably when we were young, our parents probably all were concerned who we hung out with. I know my parents would say birds of a feather flock together. I told my children, I would say, tell me who your friends are. I'll tell you who you are.
The premise,
But it doesn't change if you're 6 or 60 years old. Who we spend our time with makes a difference in who we spend our time with at work. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you, all day long, you're dealing with people, and you're probably dealing with people issues sometimes. How do you, when you leave work, handle getting your mindset focused on growth?
It's easy to say I compartmentalize everything. It's easy to say I'm able to wash it off, but it's not. It's not. Some patients stick with you. Some patients that you try to help and you realize maybe I can't save everyone. You have to transfer them out. A lot of things stick with you, and it's hard. But the beauty of it, and this is what makes my ability to do psychiatry great, is my ability to psychiatry. So my wife is a psychiatrist, so we work together. So whatever I'm talking about, and I'm like, can you believe what this person said? I'm able to bounce it off her. She'll come up to me and give me some advice, or we have this conversation where we're kind of just able to laugh about it and just calm it down, and be like, okay. So I have a partner in you say in crime, which helps a lot. And a lot of people don't have that. And the people that I do work with, they will call and be like, Oni, this is the patient I dealt with. What do you think? And I'm like, we talk about it, and we have that transference of like, it's okay, you did nothing wrong, because they feel terrible. It's like, this person just left a bad review for me. You did nothing wrong. And we had to like talk them off the ledge, because they feel like every mistake that they think they made, which they didn't make, because the patient is saying, oh, I'm going to call the city, I'm going to call the state, because you didn't prescribe my 6 Klonopin. Who does 6 Klonopin? All right. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's a little scary.
Yeah. But and leave bad reviews. And a lot of providers are just, either you're trying to get a good review or you're trying to be a good provider, and which one do you want to be? And especially when you're running an independent practice, you get reviewed, not a hospital. Hospitals get reviewed. Your name is not on the top. You know what I mean? So it's hard, but when you communicate with people, practitioners and everybody else, it makes it much easier.
Well, thank goodness you do have like a sounding partner, because I've had actually the very first episode of this show was my former podcast coach. Shout out to Michael O'Neill, the Solopreneur Hour. Very, very viral podcast, very big in the business space. And I think he still is in California. But anyway, the point is like the key word there, solopreneur, right? He was one of the first people to really take advantage of that key word. But now fast forward all these years later, right? How many people throw that around like crazy? Are you a entrepreneur? Are you a side hustle pro? Are you a solopreneur? Like me, I work for myself. Now I have contracts that technically I'm working for another company, depending on what I'm doing. But in the end, it's my business, right? So I don't always have a sounding person, like somebody to bounce stuff off to. And so that's where, back to personal and professional development, this is fun, right, for us to be able to connect and grow our networks and our connections and just be able to be real men around each other. Like I was joking around earlier, but it's like, well, how often can you connect with a business coach and then cry on their shoulder or something like that? And like I said, shout out to Dale tonight, because like Dale and I knew each other from high school. We hadn't connected in years, and he was at one of these events a year ago, and Lily was like tearing up while telling a childhood story that I had no idea about. And I'm like, dude, like I had chills, because I'm sitting here in my barn just trying to figure out how this mindset thing, if it's going to even take off or whatever. And I was like, holy crap, that was freaking real. And I loved it, and everybody loved it. And I was like, wow.
And he
back to
that.
human connection, and he clearly needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a solopreneur. You look at any of his social media, it's him in the car with the dogs, or him at the gym, or now he's doing the the physique stuff. And I'm like, it's all him against the world. Yeah. But he still answered the option. Like he didn't have to show up, and he's been here 2-3 times. But his schedule didn't align tonight. But it's like your schedules aren't always going to align. But my point was, I was like, oh well, I'll just create the space and see where it goes, and just see how guys connect. And like the very first 1 or 2 ones last year, I was like, oh, this is cool. I don't know. And I to my knowledge, and a couple of you got, well, you're the newest, and you're the newest, but it's like, and you're the newest. So it's like, you're the 3 newest faces. I mean, what do you think, Jesse? I mean, do you have this type of stuff in your circle of friends? Or am I the weirdo?
No, I think that you're pretty much spot on. And I think that they kind of touch on how far technology has come. As far as technology has come, I think it's kind of pushed people apart and pushed people away from each other. So I think that having these in-person meetups and actually discussing like, mindset and growth is really, really beneficial for a lot of people. And I'm just really glad to be here.
Yeah. And again, Rob, thanks for that connection too. But he was like, yo, when he texts me this morning, he sends me the photo of his daughter, and I'm like, oh, is everything all right? And he goes, listen, Jesse's coming. Yeah. See, he can hold it down for both of us. And I was like, all right. I was like, so if you didn't know that, congratulations. Yeah. But I was also like, well, don't forget, dude, you got to hold you down. And that's what the brotherhood, so to speak, is for. I haven't used that word yet at these evenings, but it's the whole point here is that, and part of the other underlying principle for the newer attendees is that over the years, I've learned just from the podcasts and amazing women like my wife and other people I surround myself with, that women are so much better at this than we are, right? Like as men, now granted, Brad and you guys are, connecting, and you're connecting at a different level too, thanks to your career experience, Chris. But it's like the average man would be afraid to do stuff like this, or afraid to connect, or they claim that they have these best friends, but are they connected?
Or they're connected by the wrong things.
Even better. Yeah.
I mean, you touched upon it. You wrote about it. The old adage, show me who your friends are, and I'll show you who you are. Isn't that the premise behind it?
Yeah, it's who you spend your time with, and it's also in the 5 areas that I believe from research and that we've talked about tonight that are most important. It's one, spirituality. I find the people that are happiest and most prosperous, they have a connection with spirituality. The person who we marry, we spend our life with, is going to determine a huge part of our success, because we've all seen friends, I guarantee you, that you thought were going to really excel in life, and they fell apart because they had the wrong person. And we also met people that excelled even better because they had the right partner.
Or I could tag in on that, the people who chose not to partner with anybody like me for a long time, until I met my wife. And then I struggled with it, but I needed her, and I didn't know.
You didn't even know.
Yeah.
Before you go number 3, my father-in-law always says, if in order to be a good man, a healthy man, you only need 2 things: a good wife and a good car.
Yeah.
If you have both, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So good partner.
and I will tell you that definitely makes a difference. I mean, the partner you choose, but I would say the next one is that for us who have children, you could have all the spirituality in the world. You could have a wonderful spouse, but if as your children get older, if they can't survive and thrive on their own, we can never really be happy and prosperous when you see your children struggling. So that's important. And then the 4th category of the theory of 5 is that if you could have great children, you could have a great spouse, you could have spirituality, but if you can't pay your bills and you don't understand business and finance, if you don't understand finances, you can't take care of the people you love. But the one thing that we all have in common is the last area of the theory of 5 is our health and fitness. You could have all 4, but if you're not healthy, and you're in pain all the time. So that's really the theory of 5 is about the 5 most important categories, and then surrounding yourself with the right people, which is what we're doing today.
Which is why I connected when you spoke at Brad's event, which I don't even think you weren't even a scheduled speaker, right? He just tossed you in.
He threw me in at the end and just said, "Come on in."
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's just, for me, once I read your book, I flip it. I always put health first, and that's why the tagline on the show is health, business, lifestyle, right? Because with what I do, people are like, "Wow, you do," like I do no less than 35,000 miles a year driving. I drive across 4 different states to go do my business meetings and stuff. Now, granted, we have the technology to do a lot of virtual, but a lot of my consulting is in the HVAC space. So the executives I connect with are the big distributors that your contractors go and shop at. So I'm talking, 6+ figure business deals. Yeah, I'm sorry, I ain't doing that over Zoom. Now, granted, during 2021, I might have had to, but that was one of the first industries where like, "Hey man, can you just come and meet with me?" Like they were lonely. Like they're like, "Please." Like I was like one of the first guys to reconnect but they're like, "Man, you're looking really good. Did you weather the storm?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't look at it as a storm. I just look at it as another, whatever." I mean, everybody looked at that period as a really struggling period for some people, but for me, my wife and I was literally in my garage, the old garage, not this space, on my rowing machine, and I felt like a burning sensation in my chest. And I went and did the test and I had it, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep working out. I mean, I was lucky enough, right, to be able to do that. I knew I was, quote unquote, it didn't feel right, and I couldn't perform my normal level. Within 24 hours later, I was fine. But I was like, is that because I have a great baseline of health? I don't know. Do I have the mindset to overcome these things? Yeah, I'm crazy. I do skydiving for fun. Like I race mountain bikes. I beat the crap out of myself. Like a year ago, I broke ribs and collapsed a lung, My wife says I'm an idiot in a loving way. So it's like, back to your point. I put number 5 for you on your book. For me, personally first. But the other thing that's really come out that you guys hit on a little bit was the financial piece.
Yeah.
Dude, like personally, my family is a hot mess. My bloodline. They don't know squat, ergo me. We did not know squat about money. So I'm changing that family tree myself right now and that's thanks to my wife, because her family taught her about money. And when we came together, talk about rubbing. I mean, whoa, there was no alignment, so, but again, once I finally let her in, helped transform me. And now we together will be more successful than anybody in my family bloodline history. And it's not about the total dollars. It's just that knowledge base, and it's like, man, if more people, even though we don't have human children, but if more people can pass on that, share that in their circles of trust, right? Pass that knowledge on, it changes people's futures, their lives.
Well, think, people that take care of themselves hang out together. You can see everybody here takes care of themselves physically.
At the powerlifting gym.
Yeah,
That was funny. You guys had
Before deeper connection. Yeah, before I knew about anybody. Actually, the only first I was like 7 years ago.
There you go.
7 years ago.
Yeah. Susie shook hands. Like, wait a minute. I used to
know
live
you.
with you. You're talking about deadlifting in the driveway. I was like, what? What just happened?
I love listening to all these like ping pongs going back. We can have an individual. Well, you can have a podcast theme about each one of the theory of five, right? I mean, you can go on for days, hours, months about each topic, and there can be debates, endless debates as to where they rank order. But the phenomenology of the human existence, right? It's not like symmetrical, it's so dynamic. It moves, it shapes, it shape shifts. For me, it's hard to quantify which one ranks at the top.
Sure.
But I have to kind of play a trump card here and put God first.
I could tell that. I mean, earlier in the evening, I was like, yeah, you're definitely high on the spiritual
Now,
rank. Yeah.
Anyone who knows me, I am not a straight edge altar boy. I was an altar boy, but I lived 1 foot in, growing up in the hood, dirt poor in the street, hustled hard,
You sound like Brad right now. If
I
Brad was
did
here.
my dirt, was smart enough to get away with certain things, but was raised with a really strong, firm foundation. But, I resort back to, this quote, and I didn't want to chop it off. So I just looked it up. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. When all else fails, because our connections with each other will fail and falter. We will choose wrong. We will F up, keeping it G.
Oh, I don't care.
We'll fuck up our connections with people. We'll choose wrong. We'll invest wrong. We'll fuck up left and right.
Oh, I fucked up a lot.
Right? We'll do a lot of things wrong in each of those other areas.
What then doesn't change though?
But what is the one constant, at least for me in my life and what I believe? When I go astray and fall off my spiritual path, my spiritual warfare, everything else kind of falls off too. When we talk about mindset, my mindset has to be anchored in my faith. The physical, absolutely. Like if you have to move your body. You have to move your body, and all of a sudden it kind of just pulls other things together. Garbage in, garbage out. Who you connect to dictates who you are, right? 100%. But if I don't have that constant anchor dialogue with my God, when my faith falls off, I feel like everything else falls off, dude. It's that spiritual, magnetic, divine connection. And this is not judgmental. I believe in Jesus Christ, right? But to that divine entity,
Yeah.
the
It supersedes everything, right?
right, the
All the shit could be hitting the fan, but if you could at least fall back to that.
right, the Alpha and Omega. You know what I mean? Like he's the Pantocrator. You know what I mean? And so, shameless plug that if your spiritual life ain't in order, get it in order, man.
Yeah.
Because it makes a world of difference.
And I can speak to this because I'm as transparent as anybody to a fault sometimes, because people are like, dude, you just don't give a shit. I'm like, no, I don't. I tell everybody. So I love my family. I mean, no matter what problems I've come from, I love them. But it's like now later in years, there's been health problems, right?
Sure.
They're in their mid to late 70s. Dad last week started his whatever, he's got prostate cancer, but they said, looks good, got a good chance. But now all of a sudden I'm getting DMs. My dad has never, he's had a smartphone. He doesn't even text. Now I'm getting DMs over Facebook 2 to 3 times a day of short video clips regarding prayer and God and the value of us having loving sons and all this stuff. I didn't get that my whole life. So, but it's funny how you shouldn't wait that late, I guess. You shouldn't wait that long until you're having these scary moments in your later years to finally start doing all that. Because to me right now, it is noise. You know, I do believe in those things, but right now from that corridor, you got to just slow your roll, right? Like you went from like 0 to hero, Dad. Like, what's going on?
But it
like,
starts so early. Interesting observation here, if I may. Like, my undergrad is in human development, children, youth, and family services. I started off as a therapist. You said something about the internet pulling us apart, you know, breaking connections. That spiritual warfare starts when we're young. Retrospect is 2020. When I think about, like, my tattoo on here is the verse in the Bible on spiritual warfare. It starts early when you're being pulled away from the right path, right? And
because you're still very
and you have to equip yourself with those spiritual tools, you know, the belt of truth, the sword of the spirit, you know, the breastplate of righteousness, like all those things that protect your soul and your mind, you know, the helmet. I mean, it's a very, very artistically graphic verse. And think about it, it was written 2,000 years ago, but it applies so much right now to how we equip ourselves against the wiles of the devil that come in the form of social media, that come in the form of bad influences, that come in the form of pressures and stress and other things that kind of pull us apart from each other and divide us. If our mind is right, our health is right, our spirit is right, who could stop us? Yeah. Right?
Well, it's funny you bring all that up because, like, I always tell people, actually, we were talking about it in the driveway when everybody started arriving, and I was talking about, like, and thank you for the kind words of the property. It's an ongoing project from mine, but it's like I kind of treat this place like a canvas. You know, it's a transformational.
For sure.
It's amazing. But I had to learn a lot of patience because, like, I want everything to look the way I want it, but it's like, okay, no.
Right.
1, it takes money. 2, I believe in cash, like no debt, no financing crap. Like, no, you can wait. Like, that's going to be, you know, but there's that piece of what you're talking about, which is, I didn't have any of this when I was a kid. And does that mean I had to turn into an idiot as a kid? No, I learned how to work hard. My dad did teach me that. I don't belittle anything that I brought it up the other day. I'm like, dude, parents did right by me on a lot of things. You know, I learned how to work my ass off. So I'm good at that. But my point on that topic, though, back to the property and family and what you brought up about kids being impressionable and back to the tech is, and I've done social media marketing for clients. I tell people all the time to unplug. And I'm a sales and marketing consultant. Like, I build brands and launch them online. And I will tell people, unplug. So, I mean, my trail I built in my woods, I'll record videos, but then it goes right back in my pocket. And it's not all the time. But if I have a thought in my head, I'm like, you know, I'm in the woods right now. My dog is with me on the trail. I feel like people need to see this. Like, you're outside, unplug. Now, granted, I'm plugging in to do the video, but I'm just trying to give back to somebody. But in the end, I'm not walking down the trail watching YouTube.
You can't connect to the divinity of the trail. Your phone's in your hand.
The creation, right?
Oh, man.
I just chose to use it.
That's why we love to sit in a tree 4 months out of the year, right?
Yeah, the hunting, exactly.
Oh,
like,
my
dude,
God.
believe me, getting into hunting 4 years ago, that tested me. I was like, I have to sit my ass here and freeze my ass off at 5:30 in the morning until the sun comes up. And then you learn that when the sun comes up, it's even colder for at least that 30 minutes. But it's like, you watch, is the squirrels or the chipmunks wake up first? Yeah. Oh, did that fox sneak through right before sunset? We're within a 10-minute threshold when that first deer should start working down. Usually it's the fawn before the mother. Yeah. Like, you just become one with everything around you. And it's like, whoa, like, that was a spiritual awakening my first season of hunting.
You want to get to know the earth and God? Sit in a tree before the sun comes up. Yeah. And you watch the first drop of the dew come down. The chickadees come drink from the dew on the leaves. Yeah. And when, you know, the chipmunks wake up, and there's nothing like it in the world. You can't do that with this in your hand.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I will say the one thing I think the advantage to this today is, I think I'm 10 to 20 some years older than everybody here, is that
But you look fabulous.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Seriously, Mr. Lehigh Valley over there, 1984.
What I will say is that when I was growing up, the only person you ever heard that was like a motivational person on TV. Does anyone know who the first guy that was doing infomercials? He's still famous today. Anthony Robbins.
Yes.
Oh,
Anthony Robbins did all that. So you had to buy his tapes.
I had his books. I
or
went to his live
cassettes
events. I've been
to
to a
do
bunch
that.
of his live
I mean,
events.
today, if you really want to watch, there are so many people that give so much good information and bad.
sure.
But if you search for the good information,
The
there's
biggest
some-
problem with that is when you search for it, the algorithm gives you attention-seeking information. So you can search for Tony Robbins, but the third video, the third swipe, it's going to be like, oh, we got something that's going to capture your eyeballs.
'cause they know.
And now you're swallowed into, oh, dopamine. I'm loving it. You know what I mean?
and then you
Well, because
you
in your
divert
world-
from your original thought.
I literally have my patients send me screenshots of their screen time. So I can be like, hey, you got to really take your screen time below 6 hours a day.
Doc, I'm not showing you mine.
You know?
Oh, man.
we go through those cycles.
I'm an addict.
But here's what you just said, though. What
I
you
put a
just
timer on
stated
mine.
was
So
awareness.
it turns me off after certain
See, people bypass that. I'm like, give me the give me the screenshot. No,
we see what we're talking about right now is awareness.
prescription of accountability.
I'm not saying you have to fully unplug.
awareness and
Yeah.
accountability.
Once you
That's two
become aware of it, and I am glad they put that screen time
Awareness,
tracker
acceptance,
thingy, in the software because it's like, okay, even they know it. And some people will look at their numbers and then still not take action on it, right? So,
So-
at least we can become more aware.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, yes, I'm aware. I need to go unplug. I'll take the phone. And sometimes I don't even take it on the trail. No, I'll leave it out here and then go on the trail. But
What's-
whatever.
What's scary? Yeah, it's funny how we're bouncing on. We're squirreling all over the place in this
Yeah.
That's
conversation.
the fun of these shows. Yeah,
What's
this
great.
episode. Yeah.
But what's scary about that triggers a thought. Is where are we going? The AI revolution just starting.
Yeah.
It's just starting.
What can I connect on the AI for you?
And
I know exactly.
where are as a person who is nearly and dearly connected to young people and influencing young people and impacting
Young minds.
young minds and aspiring adults, right? Having an impact and coaching them and just wanting to be a positive influence. What we compete with now already is much different than a previous generation competed with.
Yeah,
And it's changing much faster.
And it's changing much faster.
much faster.
Are the dendrites in our brain wired and prepared for the AI revolution?
Well,
And
it's
what
funny we're talking
happens
about
then
AI.
to the human connection that you were talking about.
I think it totally destroys it. To be honest with you, we're already being told on what we should consume and what's being put in front of us. It's only a matter of time before it turns into that being told what to what.
Well, think
we're
about
meant
it.
to think.
The
What we're doing.
algorithms
How
that
to-
you
how to
brought up,
think, yeah.
Like, how do you
You're hitting on.
marginalize the essence of humanity?
Because think about it. Once AI is then fully plugged into all the quote algorithms,
Right.
now it's nuts, right? But again, that's even more important. Why to just take 5 minutes to unplug, go walk in the park, go walk. If you have a trail, go walk on a trail.
Dog.
But like you got it. You
I
got
want
to
to hear,
unplug.
Doc, hypnosis. What does it do to you?
I am not well versed in
Well,
anything outside of psychiatric
right,
meditation,
but
medicine.
it makes you, it puts a spell-ish on you to regurgitate what this person is imposing on you
Yeah.
through a direct message.
But not everybody can
Are
be
we-
hypnotized.
The reason why I use that word is, are we not hypnotized by these freaking machines?
yeah.
You know, this light and all this
you
stuff.
can call
like,
it hypnotized.
we are socialized, we're reinforced, we're conditioned.
But you're
conditioned.
It's almost as if you're driving a car and you're spending your gas to get somewhere. You're literally watching the phone. You're spending your dopamine to get somewhere, and that where is nowhere. Where you can do dopamine with other people.
Correct.
And your background, your professionalism, because again, I only dual majored in psychology. I didn't go anything beyond that. But I tell people all to this day that everything I know in business didn't come from the degree. The psychology, that's what I use in my business. And a lot of other things I've learned just through sweat equity and time and aging and growth and connections,
Psychology,
right? But
connections.
back to the psychology and the mindset component is that what do you think the developers are using? They studied the human mind. They study all this stuff, and they're like, okay, let's program the algorithms. Let's program AI to
It's classical
flip, to break that brain.
Yes.
Exactly, break
Yeah,
the
that's
brain.
my point.
Create addiction.
People that made the casinos, the gambling,
Exactly.
Yes.
did all that stuff, right? And it's heavy. It's a heavy hitter. And speaking of AI, because before you plug into Google, you plug into AOL, you're the one doing the searching, you're the
Right.
one doing the looking, and now with algorithm
targeting
is telling
you.
you what to do, but now with AI, it's literally gonna think for you, right? Versus someone telling you what to do, like the algorithm. So that's the next step. You're not gonna think for yourself anymore. It's like, hey, this is what you want to do.
Well, it's already
This is what-
happening.
This is what I want to do. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know I wanted to do that.
My
being
top business partner, she can't do
reconditioned.
math in her head. I was like, Jen, I make you a lot of money with our contract. Like we literally were talking the other day on Monday before I headed out to New York. I'm like, hey, here's some stuff that you want to follow up on, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, by the way, we had to do a quick math in my head. Like she goes out the way from, she's Bessie's my wife too. And they can't do, and my wife is a horse doctor and a chiropractic doctor for animals. Like she's very smart. She went to Cornell, went to UPenn. Neither of them can do a tip in their head at a restaurant. And I'm like, guys, this is basic fundamental
And
mathematics.
imagine those that are cashiers in 18,
Oh,
19,
dude.
20.
Oh.
They have the numbers in front of them and they still have to look.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wait.
And they don't understand how to give change
Nickel and
back.
cents.
It's not a paper and it's coins. It's hard.
People are not
It's
aware of the,
difficult.
even if they're not intending to be lazy, but the tech is creating the laziness.
Yeah.
So, and I've become so self-aware. I will personally, like, there's a notepad on the workbench. I now write everything down.
The
Again,
cognitive,
write it all down.
mental, emotional stamina and resilience that we were raised in, or in part that we had to have to survive, to get over the humps of normal child development
It's not there
and the
anymore.
obstacles of learning a new career or learning a new job or being the low man on the totem
Think about
pole.
the most basic
It's not
thing.
there.
I say this.
Immediate
I say this
gratification.
almost every day. When's the last time you actually had to drive somewhere without GPS? And if you can't answer that question, that means you're not even trying. Meaning you're too afraid to be under stress. I say simple things like this. Do you know what the color is of your front door? This is like 5 minutes.
Red.
And they're like, oh, it's blue. I'm like, see how long it took you to do that? You have no incentive to remember things, even try to remember. So if you're not building any memory, why do you think you have ADHD? You literally don't practice memory.
I have friends who need a GPS here in the Lehigh Valley. And when I ask them about that, they look at me like I'm crazy. And I was like, guys, I drive across 4 different states. When I was firefighting years ago, doing the wildland fire, I would drive coast to coast and purposely get lost.
Challenge yourself.
As a cyclist,
Go under
on
stress.
that road bike there. I
okay.
purposely go out and turn down a road I've never been before.
Yes.
Why? To
It's
challenge
okay
myself.
to be under stress.
Yes.
Stress builds dendrites,
Exactly.
builds brain connections, synapses.
We've gotten too
Exactly.
comfortable. And it's like, you've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Dial a number that you don't remember and mess up a little bit. It's like, hello, is this David? No, it's not. Oh, it's not the end of the world. It's okay.
Say, hey,
try again.
my apologies.
Try
You know,
again.
you know.
Hey,
Maybe you'll
I'm
make
with
it.
that point, but I still love my GPS guys.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Here's the deal: the world.
But the challenge is,
I'm driving to a lot of
exposure.
properties. I'm like,
my thing is exposure. It's like
you use
expose
the
yourself to
GPS
stress
to go?
once in a while.
I did
get that
first time.
Everybody needs a GPS. To,
I agree with the principle. On
Did you use the
everything.
GPS?
But don't take my
Don't take my GPS.
Don't take my Waze. Shout out to Waze.
our entrance sucks. You need a GPS to get here.
I'm gonna say I use the GPS to get
Like,
here tonight.
you notice how proactive I am. I always wait right before an event, and I start sending out photos. And like I literally I went down,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
took
you're-
photos, and then made sure I had them to send to everybody who's not been here before. And I know you've been here. You probably did the GPS
Yes.
anyway, because then people don't understand that annoying entrance. And I'm like, I can't change that. I'm on a mountainside, you know. But yes, does tech help us? Absolutely. But when we become too dependent on it, that's the scary stuff for me.
I'm
a
getting
survivor
dependent on
person.
when I
don't
send
like it.
emails to people. I run it through I have a
AI
proof, and all of a sudden I'm
Yeah.
like, it's just the right thing to do because I try not to use any. I try not to use a calculator for math at all. I try to do that all that in my
Does it
head.
automatically.
But,
They're already
but
suggesting
when I send something out, I run it through
Grammarly
just to
does a
double
good
check,
job.
and I question
Grammarly when I
myself.
wrote
Is
my
this the wrong thing to do?
Listen, I think about it. You know, forget small fries. I think about the young people in medical school
Oh my gosh!
who are using Claude and ChatGPT to get through fucking medical school.
Well, they already said there's going to be a Claude-guided new surgical process. They said there's no humans are going to be running it. And they're already getting it
You know,
cleared.
when we think about our loved ones who have complex, sophisticated
I'm gonna push back.
medical issues,
There's a benefit of having AI within medicine only because
I agree with
it's
that. I agree with
so difficult to get through the research documents that are there. I use an AI service called Open Evidence,
Yeah.
which doesn't do anything with wiki or anything. It's only research journals from research.
It synthesizes
database.
empirical
And it pulls the research for you,
Sure.
and it documents it and it sends you the article. Like, read this article, read this.
I'm with that.
And now I know where to get it, how to get it, and like, okay, this is what I need.
I'm
can
all about
identify
that to
some factors.
synthesize
Sure.
and expedite.
Yeah,
exactly.
The
and if
manual-
medicine does it that way, it's
I'm
good.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm referring to is the problem solving element to it.
Right.
Right. The problem
detective
solving.
and also
critical
can a Hippocratic
thinking-
oath
Yeah.
exists.
You said
in
being
an
a
AI.
detective, you got to be.
Right?
the,
Yeah,
the
detective,
critical
yeah.
thinking component that only I think the brain can do to look at the angles from a, like a multi-prismed approach and say, and test theory.
Yeah.
Synthesize the information for me and give me what I need to know and how to go about it in a very
Even when they
concise-
synthesize it, you're like, this is not right.
Right.
You challenge it.
Give me a chance to
but
process
only way
it.
you can challenge it if you
and
know
critically
what you're
think
doing.
about exactly.
Exactly. So you want to, yeah.
Does
How about in the
does the
chiropractor
preparation
field? Is that
process
AI coming
eliminate
into
that
that?
for young people? In
Thankfully
They
not.
say it's coming, but
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I think they have to clear in the traditional MD
Yeah.
medical space first, because they've always kicked out. I'm a big Cairo fan, so I love having it.
tactile, though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
all
tactile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys have always been like the outliers. It's kind of
Can't
annoying.
replace
And
it.
it's like
Yeah, because you're using your body to adjust
Yeah.
different muscles.
like the only
and
tech in
bones
my
and-
Cairo's office, East Penn.
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
yeah. So I've been using her for a while, but she'll just go in and actually, it's only because the nurse comes in and then brings up my record on the TV screen. But half the time, like she's been working on me for so long, we end up just geeking out during the entire session about. She knows I'm a health geek and I'm a podcaster. She's like, "Who's interesting you've had on lately?" And we just start having a conversation while she's working on me. She knows my record. She knows my past injuries, so
She just
she
works.
doesn't need the tech.
Works, yeah.
Yeah, she's a great caregiver, right? Because she knows me as a patient. And I feel like she's probably like that with most of her people. But that's all the reason why I think that also aids the kind of person I am. Like, not every patient, you probably know this, right? Not every one of your patients are very forthcoming
They're not.
and very
Some-
open.
Yeah, some people, they kind
Me,
of pry
I'll
open.
vomit all over you because then there's nothing hidden, right?
Wait,
So-
Jesse, do you use tech with your pain?
Not too much. I use some like muscle stimulation, like some like EMS, TENS units. But most of it's all like you're saying, like tactile,
All
manual,
hands on.
right? But I think there is like a personal aspect of being a chiropractor, right? You're physically touching someone. You're entering their personal space, and I think that if they're not comfortable with you and you're not trying to like break that barrier of actually connecting with them, you're not really going to do any really effective work with them.
Well, it's like you're sales pros throughout the Kelly world. And I've done this because I've trained people and coached people on sales too. And it's like, guys, sales, everybody's a salesperson. I don't care who you are. I should probably write a book like that. Everybody's a sales pro. You're just at a different place in the timeline. You don't know enough yet. When you lie to your parents about scraping the side of their car, I've said this on my show before, like as a young kid, because you didn't know how to drive yet. And you thought you could just move the car in and out of the garage without them knowing. Yeah, I'm that kid. And then you lie, ergo sell them on the fact, and you make your mom think for years that she must have sideswiped something at the Lane Co. grocery store parking lot when you were a kid. And then years later, you tell her, yeah, that was a lie. So, they're
What
like,
does it mean? Shaggy said it best.
I suppose
but I mean, is AI going to identify that? Who the hell knows? I don't think so. I mean, there's still those basic human connections and the basic human communication skill sets that can't be lost. We have to keep those alive.
100%.
Use the iPhone as a tool. Use a camera or a video as a tool. Use the AI as a tool. We just can't forget our spirituality, right? The reason why human connection is so important.
I love that. I want to circle back because I don't know why, but my algorithm is hitting me up with a lot of chiropractor and neck breaks.
Yeah.
Is that something that you specialize in?
Neck breaks.
You see the neck
An
breaks.
adjustment or a
I volunteer as triple.
I call the neck breaks. Is it like whoa? And
Let's show
I
him.
feel
Let's show
great.
him.
Yeah, that stuff's crazy. That stuff's
Is that
absolutely
something you do?
No.
Never done that
spin
online.
traction when they put like
I saw a video where a young girl
she actually broke her neck.
She broke her neck.
Yeah, no, that's
But they
not
put the collar on them, like the collar.
It really
but like
hurts his profession when people put that online.
Yeah.
Because it's like not everybody is a true chiro professional.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they're true chiropractors. They just get it for the likes, and that's the problem.
That's the
even
problem.
scary. That's even
It's
scary.
ASMR, right? It's like this sensory stimulating thing of they hear like the crack and people just chase it. But these techniques that they do, these traction pulls, like they're not
They're
taught.
neck breaks.
They're,
Because this is literally
you are literally
scary.
you can dislocate stuff. They're like traction's okay.
can give
But
some-
The reason why I
impulses
watch this, I'm like, oh, they're gonna break this one. Like it's scary.
Well, sometimes when she's adjusting my neck, you don't hear anything. She's
Yeah.
like, well, and she told me this years ago. She's like, oh, that's just, there's no air pockets to be released. She's like, I'm not cracking you. She's like, usually most sounds are air. Like you're just releasing and moving and manipulating.
my
She's
neck
like,
like
I'm not here
this
trying to
all the
purposely
time.
crack you.
Yeah.
But when I was, early on, I didn't know any of that. I was-
Why am I not like breaking? Like I saw like those videos on Instagram. Well, that's I don't know. I don't really chasing that crack and being like a crack addict, as some people say.
Crack addict.
that's a new one. Another crack addict I've never thought of.
Hey, there's a billboard for you.
You see a crack addict? We still come to see me. You're not gonna find the cracks here. That can be a fun commercial, actually. Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a pat.
you, crack
The crack doctor.
Yeah. Dude, give me 5 minutes. We'll brainstorm. We'll come up with all kinds of billboard ads.
See, again, you said it earlier, Mike. There's a lot of randomness happening on this recording.
Squirrel.
But that's the point, is that I don't expect us to come to a full fluid thought throughout an entire show, because you have literally 5 different mindsets connecting and sharing communication. And the point is, this is just meant to say, if anybody connects with either of you on this recording, then they go and find you and they follow you. Like when I do eventually release this, I'll eventually contact you all and get all what you'd prefer to be shared as far as Instagram or YouTube or email or whatever, or book listings, whatever, because I feel that's my duty to help people get connected. Like when Rob first, I think the second time we had this, the very second one, this is number 6. And people asked like, well, how do you know Scott? And why do you, I remember he said this and I was honored. He said, he's like, I don't know, Scott's just fucking crazy. He just knows how to get people connected. I was like, business card?
Nice.
That's it.
There we go.
Put that on the card.
I get you fucking connected. Cool. All right, pay me. But that was good, Rob. Yeah, very simple. There's a lot of ways you could quote sell yourself, advertise yourself, connect on these different thought processes. But the whole point here is that, especially in your space, or actually any of our spaces, you're never going to connect perfectly with everybody. Right? I don't even like the word perfect anymore. Any variation of perfect to me, especially in the past 5 to 10 years, it just sets unrealistic expectations. I'm a high goal setter, and I try and over and exceed. But when people chase this perfectionism in the psychological state, I just see bad things happen, and I see people spiritually making bad decisions, answering the evil thoughts and doing bad things, right? Because they have to have everything perfect now. And it's like, no, you don't.
Right.
You meant to struggle. You meant to make mistakes. You meant to learn.
I think that's a great point. We're perfectly imperfect, all of us.
Well said.
I think that we need to have a standard or standards that we set for ourselves that are above board, and values that we live by. And if we constantly strive towards those, we never arrive. You think about that.
But you improve along the journey.
We are setting standards and living by values and constantly striving for them. We never truly arrive, because every day brings its own unique challenges, victories, losses, and lessons. Fall down 7, stand the fuck up 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what we got to do.
Yep.
That's what it is. We never fully arrive. But wherever we are, we are. You got to be present and mindful and celebrate your blessings and be mindful and cognizant of them. But always set those standards higher from where you currently are and live by those values that direct you wherever you go. And for me, like,
and don't
my
skip
values
over that
are
word
aligned
present.
with my faith,
Yeah.
and
Present, yeah.
the mindset that I like to stick to, come ruin or rapture. Do I deviate? Yes. It's
We're
like
human.
we're human. Like anyone who would know me, my ups and my downs, very easy to judge. But that's why in the Bible it says, take the log out of your own eye before you take the splinter out of someone else's.
Yep.
What does that mean? Look in first. Look at yourself first.
Yeah.
Make yourself better, and that's how you make everything else better.
That actually, to translate what you just said there, again, I don't want to skip over that word present, being present. There was an old quote in my corporate days, be here now. Respect those around you by being present. Again, going back to the phones and the tech and everything else. But just that point of growing along the path, being patient with yourself, pausing and just saying, oh, wait a minute. I was listening to a podcast earlier, Dave Ramsey. All of a sudden, I love that guy. He's a very spiritual person. That everything they follow. So he became something else I just mixed into my random content I listened to. But he brought something up today. I was driving, and I forget the guy's name right now, but I'll look it up. But he created a viral following online just based on gratitude, right? He's like the gratitude guru channel, just reminding people. And then he has attracted all these people because that's his whole brand. That's his whole thing is be grateful, being able to pause, be present, then reflect back. And I had to work on that in myself a lot. And I put that in my book because I struggled after coming back here from out west and being the wild and firefighter. And I'm like, you go for such an extreme to trying to reinvent yourself and find the next chapter in your life. And then as I went through that transformation and I paused and I reflected on it, and it took a while, then it's like, wait a minute. And I realized I went beyond myself and I said, wait, is this what first responders go through? Is this what military go through, right? People who have trauma in their lives and they're forced to change. And it's like, oh my God. And I literally have my hair stand up on my arm because it also helped me get outside of my own head and realize, dude, you're not alone. There's lots of people struggling out there. So it's like, you owe it to yourself, back to your point on the log versus the splinter, right? It's like, you need to straighten your shit out because that way, eventually I can help more people myself. And I think we are all capable of helping other people.
Well, it's tough to be the best version of yourself. It's tough to be a great husband, a great father, a great business person if you're not taking care of yourself physically and mentally. That's that other than spirituality, that if you're not physically and mentally taking care of yourself, how do you
expect your team, so at work, let's say, to show up and be the best that they can be when you're a hot mess? You're not living those same values, right? Values. It's like, I from my firefighting days a few years back, I just needed a new piece of ink, and duty, respect, and integrity are tattooed on my ribs because those are the three fundamentals of the Wild and Firefighting Handbook. And it was like we were drilled on that, just like military has their own, some of those words as well. But it was like, wait a minute, that applies to everything in life, personally, professionally, everything else. So it's like, that rang true to me. I'm like, oh, I need to, for some reason, brand myself with that. It was symbolic that way. Some people like tattoos, some people don't. But that rang true to me, right? If I look in the mirror one day and I'm having a bad week or something like that, it's like, you know what? Am I showing up right? Am I showing up for my wife right? Am I showing up to my business colleagues correctly or my clients correctly? Or just, going to pump gas. And if you got a stink eye, it's like you're having a bad day. That's not fair to the innocent person who happens to look over and wave at you or just say hi, which not many people do that anymore. I'm usually the weirdo doing it. Hope you have a nice day.
To me, what you said about that transition from the West to here. Am I going through the same thing that first responders go through, military goes through? I don't think it's a stretch, but it does make sense in my head. That transition point is what a lot of athletes go through. And I have a lot of athlete patients where they're transitioning from being something that everybody thought they were the best at something, and now they're regular humans. It's not traumatic like those first responders, but it's traumatic to them because they don't know what they are anymore. They don't have an identity. All they know is
because they poured so much into themselves, into
it,
identity. Yeah,
and now they're just a regular human now. And they're, how do I do it? How do I transition? How do I make the difference? And then the concept essentially is, how do we transition mentally with your mindset?
I love what you're saying because there's young athletes talking about this now. They're saying that as they're being famous, they're saying, I don't want to fall down that path. I do want to make sure that I have other things in place, not when I transition out of that.
That happens to athletes. That happens to business leaders too.
Yes.
Retire. That all of a sudden, they're used to everybody relying on them. They're used to, all day long, 60, 70-hour a week, everybody. 100%. And all of a sudden they retire and you see these men.
I can relate.
Women they pass because it's like, what do I do?
I promote consulting all the time. Like, guys, if you retire, make sure you set up a consultant business. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you have so much up here.
Yeah.
People need it.
They need it. They need now more than ever nowadays.
I can relate to. I call it identity decompression.
Oh, I like that.
because when I went from principal to now trying to,
And everybody coming to you.
everyone knew me
You're
as
the go-to guy.
a principal
Yeah.
or an educator. And now I'm an entrepreneur. Now I'm out there recording videos of myself around properties and, I'm hustling hard.
I
And doing
watched
this.
you at Moe's.
Like
Formerly Moe's.
just,
Welcome.
but still, wherever I go, I hear Mr. McCool. Now I'm not a principal anymore. Young people or athletes or we go through this at different stages of our life. All the time. Identity decompression. It's like the scuba diver coming out of the water, man. You submerge yourself. You need that transitional period.
Have you paused to reflect? I mean, through your growth, have you also recognized that? Like, if I see a kid who's now older, I don't know, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. That's why I'm asking you. I'm like, does that feel good? Like, they still have that respect and they say,
Want to hear a
Mr.
cool
McCool?
story, man?
I mean, to me, I feel like there's some respect there. So that's kind of
It's
cool.
There's a cool
That's cool.
story. This was Easter Sunday. It was Orthodox Easter. I'm Greek Orthodox. So my daughter and I went to dinner, and we're at a restaurant. And this young man's serving us, and daddy-daughter date. It's pretty cool. We're having a typical dinner, and this young man he's looking at me kind of funny. He's our server, super friendly, super nice. Looking at me kind of funny, kind of double, triple taking at me. And I just made some small talk with him. He goes, "I'm sorry, but I gotta ask, are you Mr. McCool?" And I looked at my daughter. My daughter smiled, and it gave me this look like, "Oh, here we go again," because it happens all the time.
Am I?
Now think about it. I've been assistant principal in high school for the better part of like 12 years. In the city, 2,000 students a year. And so I said, I don't know all my students' names. By then you forget. I recognized his face. I could see if I'm like, I am. Do I know you? I immediately stood up, just out of respect for that, that dynamic. He goes, "You probably don't remember my name is," and gave me his name. And I shook his hand. I said, "It's really good to see you again. What year did you graduate?" He told me 2013 he graduated. Does that make him, what does that mean? He's 29 years old, whatever it
Well,
was.
if he was 18 at 2013.
Whatever it was, maybe
13 years later.
Yeah.
whatever the
13 years
math
older.
is,
Yeah.
he's about to turn 30 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
And
31, 30.
He
yeah.
says, "Please sit down, sit down." I don't sit down. And I said, "Well, it's really good. Thank you. I'm flattered that you remember me." He goes, "Remember you?" He goes, "If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have graduated high school."
Boom.
Oh, man.
I wanted
See,
to-
now my hair is standing up again.
It made me, it definitely gave me that feeling. And I felt super guilty because I really didn't remember his
You're
story.
not gonna remember any of
But
that.
how many kids came through your
He said to me,
Yeah.
"If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have graduated high school. And in a few short weeks, I'm going to graduate with a biomedical engineering degree."
Oh, he's a smart one. Dude.
I said,
Give you that.
I got up and I gave him a hug.
That's incredible.
Took him
Imagine what he'd
took
be-
him until 30. He goes, "It took me a while, Mr. McCool, but I never forgot the things that you told me when you were
Yeah.
scolding me, setting me straight, and giving me tough love.
It just took him a little
and
longer.
you weren't an
know.
asshole to me, and I just want to say thank you."
Yeah.
Boom.
So
And his timeline took a
I'm
little
not
longer.
bragging. You
Yeah.
queued me up for that story.
Right.
but,
No,
like,
that's a point.
how many years later, dude? It was longer than 2000.
You know
It
what's
was
funny
earlier than
though?
that.
There's so many stories like that from kids that think the same thing about you that you don't even know about.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what's interesting
Yeah.
because you don't
Or
know
past
people you
employees,
impact.
right?
Yeah,
Past
you don't know
employees.
people that
Patients.
you impact.
Yeah.
You
People,
know?
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
You know?
Yeah.
And,
I was lucky enough, similar to
Almost
that.
didn't graduate to a biomedical engineering degree, man.
and
That's
now he's
pretty-
changing lives.
Pretty
Yeah,
dope.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember there was a giant T-Mobile call center that's now like a medical lab
Yes,
testing
yeah,
facility
yeah,
right
yeah.
there off of the airport road. So I used to run that place. I was one of the people who ran it. So I was a coach. I was a business leader in there, and I would run the call center. I had teams, and it was my corporate days that I hated. And call center life's not for everybody. And now, granted, it's inbound, not outbound. But the point was, they changed us into coaches. They had us professionally educated and trained. It's what actually got me interested in psychology. Actually, I didn't realize it. But anyway, the point was, years later, nothing compared to that. You crushed that one. But a girl walked up to me. I don't know where. I think we were at a live band or something at a park. And she's like, "Scott." And I was like, turn around. I'm like, I recognized her, but I was like, "Hey, And Chris and I weren't even married yet. And and Chris was like, oh, here we go. Because I run into people in the Valley all the time, years of business. And she's just like, what, do you know half of the Valley? I'm like, no, I just connect with people. Anyway, and I was like, oh, well, how have you been? And I'm trying to connect. I'm like, shit, was it T-Mobile? Was it that IT company? I don't know. And then she's just like, I was like, oh, are you still, with the old, because I'm the guy who left, right? And she's like, oh no, I got the hell out of there. I was like, oh, well, what are you up to these days? And I was like, oh, what got you out of there? She's like, it wasn't the same after you left. And I was like, in what way? And she's like, I know I was a terrible employee. Like, she said this to me, I'll never forget it. And she's like, but you kept giving me a chance. I remember you broke HR guidelines and gave me one more chance of corrective action. Like, she stated all this because I was the documenter. I did all this shit. I kept trying to focus on behavioral change. It's like, listen, policies aside, you want to build a career or not, blah, blah, blah. The point was, it's just like, she's like, after you, I went through like two or three more managers, and she called them managers. I was like, no, well, we were coaches back then. That's how I realized she was a T-Mobile person. She's like, no, you were the only real coach. And I was like, oh.
Word.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was like,
cool, man.
Wow.
I was like, thanks. I
Wow.
didn't really think about that. I was like, well, we were all management. She's like, no. She's like, when they changed the titles, you're the only one I ever called a coach. And I was like, oh, thank you.
You only one that actually showed up as a coach.
We never know.
I never thought about it,
We never know the ripple effect of our
Butterfly
actions
ripple
and our
effect.
goodwill towards other people,
That's amazing.
Like, you never know the impact of your influence. It doesn't have to. This is for everybody. You don't have to be a direct coach to do that. You don't have to teach and preach standards and values directly. You can just be the example.
Just lead by example.
There's a famous quote attributed to like St. Francis of Assisi. It says, teach the word of God, teach and preach the word of God, and use words only when you have to. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's just live the example, man. Yeah. Just be good.
Yeah, I remind
and the
people
ripple
nowadays,
effect of your influence will just keep going.
I love what you're hitting on, because obviously the average person listening to like my normal show, I don't know how many heavily spiritual people follow the show, but I remind people that, to your point, these words have been written for 2,000 years. So even if you try and take God out of it, Jesus Christ out of it, maybe you're not an overly spiritual person yet, or you used to be, and then you fell off the wagon, whatever your excuse is, if you just look at the written language and you look at the principles behind the words that were written down, then fine, use it as a reference. Like, call it the old school version of YouTube University. Just take the spirituality out of it. Just read the words and understand what they were trying to write down. These are just basic, solid fundamentals that we all should be living by. But then people choose not to read them because it's in that Bible or in, whatever, the Quran or whatever religion you want to follow. I don't care, right? But it's like, guys, like, did you ever just sit there and read the words? Just take, the whole spirituality out of it. You can go there, but people don't want to do it. It's very interesting. And these are basic fundamentals been around forever. I'm guilty of
Well,
it.
we talk about leadership all the time, right? What is leadership? What is one of the most profound tenets of leadership? And that's service. What do the best leaders do?
Servant leaders. Yeah.
Top of the trenches.
Yeah.
man.
Right?
Yeah. When I became a coach, they actually demoted me. They gave me the coaching role, but then they realized I wasn't ready yet. And I was pissed. And then I realized through my growth over that next year, it was like, I wasn't ready yet, right? I wasn't literally living the importance. I was just focused on the promotion. And I reflect on this because it's like, yeah, you can set that as your goal, but are you truly living the values? Are you representing that? Or are people just seeing right through your fake exterior and you're just chasing dollars and the title, right? Don't take a title on like that, like a principal or like a teacher or a coach or the responsibility of being a doctor and a caregiver or an executive. It's like, unless you're ready to truly lead.
Yeah, well, when I got that chair, it wasn't about me sitting in that chair and people coming to me as this idol
Boss. Yeah.
No, it's about what I can give back from that chair. It was me not being in that chair and giving back to them the authority that comes and the resources and the support that comes from that chair. The God man washed the feet of his disciples. Who the hell am I to not give back? Leadership is service. Be the leader to other people that you would want for yourself.
Well, I think everybody is a statement that if you think about these words, nobody really knows and cares how much any of us know until they know how much we care.
Oh, man.
Everybody, now I don't care if you're a father, I don't care if you're a mother, I don't care if you're a teacher or coach, I don't care if you're a chiropractor, you really never grab people's hearts unless they know you care. And you can be tough on people. And when you care about people, you know, even when you have team members you're working with, you know, with our children, we don't ever give up. We don't ask them once or twice. We're tough on them because we want the best for them.
Right.
And if you have people that you work with that you truly care about, there's nothing wrong with telling people that over and over again. Because we tell our children,
Right.
we're doing this because we love you. We're doing this because we want the best for you. What's wrong with telling the team members we work with? This is an obligation. When you join our team, we have an obligation to make sure you can take care of yourself and support yourself. And it's because we care about you. We only
I've
have X
heard
amount of players on a team. You were pro football player? Is that? I thought I heard you say that. Listen, there were only so many spots on a team. Every business we run, there's only so many spots that they have. You only have so many spots that you have, and we need the best people, and we need people that we care about and need to know the reason we're asking you to do this. Sometimes we just say, do it, because I'm the boss. I'm the boss. That's why you do it. No, it's because we care about you, and this is what's going to make you better. And if we remember that all the time, care about people,
Right.
just like they were your family.
Amen.
We will be better in business too.
You can't be an effective psychiatrist unless your clients know, like, and trust you and know that you care about them. You can't be an effective chiropractor unless your clients know, like, and trust you and can rely on your expertise.
And they know you want to take care of them.
And they're not going to let you lay hands on them. They're not going to go back and do the exercises and the things that you tell them unless they know you're coming from a good place. I've heard you talk about how you speak and coach your staff and your customers. You know, Scott, I mean, your hospitality speaks for itself. You know, just your presence.
It's really the barn. You really got to show props.
It's the barn and the flags and the meat.
Yes.
But like, you know,
The
just
2000
remembering you
Polaris, it's old school.
and your presence back in the gym, back in CrossFit, you know, like people know, like, and trust you. So they follow your coaching, you know, as a, whether I was an educator, but now as a realtor, people, unless they can connect and know, like, and trust that I have their best interests at heart. And this goes for anyone listening. Anything you do, your sphere of influence, do it from a servant leadership standpoint. It will 10x your influence and your impact.
Well, I love what Chris triggered, what we all been triggering slowly throughout the evening, but also what you just closed out on is because one, we broke the hour. We didn't even really think we were going to.
Man,
And
it's past
two,
my curfew,
you
bro.
just summed up one of the whole principles of meta mindset was about being real, right? Connecting with people. That was the point. I bring men together now for this. Like, I still don't know what the hell this is, but it's like that's part of that too. Is like, dude, if you show up here and you're just gonna be fake and you're not gonna get real, and yeah, you don't have to like literally vomit your entire life history while you're hanging out with us, right? But it's like I mentioned Dale Earl, I'll show him props when he cried that one night, like just teared up. I'm like, whoa, people are gonna reach those points at any point in time. But if we can at least come together as a male community and just provide each other that grace and that freedom and that flexibility, like I still can't believe Rob leaves the hospital, brings his daughter that's hanging with him
Shows
all the way
up.
out here.
Shows up,
Because I
shows
was like,
up.
you don't have to come. I was like, it's so cool. You can come to the next one. But then I thought about it after I said that. And now as we're hanging here and I think about it again, and I'm like, he needed to come.
You just need to.
Even if it's only 5 minutes. I was like, dude. And now, see, now my hair stand up again. Like, that made me feel good. I was like, oh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm like, cool. Like, he had to make a detour. That's straight up detour. That's the wrong direction. I'm west and he lives back east.
You could have told me.
Yeah.
I stuck my claws in him right when he got here. Shameless plug. Mike Mac _realtor.
We're all business professionals too.
Because I care.
Because you know that you're going to do better. You're going to take better care of them than any other realtor.
And again, we're also all business professionals, so he's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
respect you for that anyway. Okay.
Like Rob said,
Well, I will say
Oh my
this: the
gosh.
toughest sale that any of us have in life is selling yourself. If we're not sold on us, if we don't believe,
Oh, man.
and if we don't believe we're the best, if we don't believe that we're going to help people, we're going to take care of people. So there's nothing wrong with being, I call it, positive pressure to perform. There's nothing wrong with that positive pressure on yourself and on other people. If you look at it and say, I have an obligation to take care of them because I'm going to do a better job taking care of that person as a chiropractor. You know, in every one of our positions, if we believe we're the best
Dude.
at it, why do we want someone to go somewhere else and they won't be taken care of like they will with us?
Preach.
I like that. PPTP. Positive pressure to
Positive
perform.
pressure.
If I get
perform.
I just call
Saraceno's-
myself my own worst self-critic, but I like your way of saying that way better because when I get stressed, it's usually because I'm holding myself to a crazy standard.
I call it positive pressure to perform.
And my
on
wife
yourself.
can agree with that. She knows I'm crazy about that, but it's because I do care that much.
Mm-hmm.
I just sometimes don't manifest it the right way, but that's why, because I give a shit, you know.
Yes.
So
But tell people
if I
that.
get
There's nothing wrong with letting them
Saraceno's
know.
stamp of approval for doing that, I feel better about
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. See?
see, I was gonna say he didn't even delay on that. He's like,
Your approval carries weight, bro. All right, big bro.
well, cool guys. Well, listen, we want to bring this show to a close because some of these guys need to go home to their families. Although you're welcome to hang longer. But anyway, we always close the show out, ladies and gentlemen, with just some final thoughts. So we shared already a conundrum and diversity. So again, as I hinted earlier in the show for the listeners, I'll make sure everybody's linked in the show notes. You can find them, learn about them, read their books, buy a house with them, fix your mindset, fix your body, no neck cracking, etc.
No neck breaking.
But since we have 3 new faces tonight, I wanted to start in reverse order there. Jesse, because you've been that strong silent type this evening. You know,
Oh, yeah,
I liked it. I liked it because it shows you're an intelligent man. You listen. That's another lesson we could save for another show about the power of listening. But how would you like to close the show up? What's a summary?
Yeah, so there are some really good points said tonight, and I think that you're talking about helping other people, but before you help other people, to help yourself. And I think that making sure that our glass is full before we pour into other people is important. Because how can we be our best? How can we help someone else if we don't know how to be good to ourselves? And I think that was a really good point. And I think that we're talking about leadership, and leadership isn't about our power over people, but how we can show them the power of themselves. I think that's what really makes a good leader as well. So I think that this was a really awesome discussion about just growth, mindset, respecting other people, treating other people, just being a good person and showing for people around you. And it was just a really good quality conversation. And I think I took a lot from it. And I hope everyone else did too.
Thank you, Jesse. Pony?
Amen. I love that. I love the aspect of the spirituality you brought into it. And Mike, I appreciate really bringing that voice of, teaching the guest and us about all the spirituality aspects of what life's supposed to be like and how to manifest in ourselves. The thing that Chris said, which I love, is the positive pressure to perform.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to stamp that with my patients, because a lot of the patients were like, oh, I got a new job and I'm stressed. No, you're not stressed. It's a positive pressure to perform. That's my close right there. That's what I'm going to take. And another thing you said, and you guys are picking it back on, is it's not about what you care, it's about who you care about.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
People don't care how much you know until you know how much you care. And that's a huge one, especially in mindset with men. Men, from my experience with people I talk to, they are so introverted. They don't want to come out and actually show anything, especially in 2026. They don't want to embarrass themselves. They don't want to come out and make a mistake. They don't want to come out and put pressure on themselves. And I'm like, you have so much to offer. You just got to show up. And if you show that you care, I think leading with love, leading with caring is a good thing. So the listeners, if you lead with that mindset, to show up and show that you care, people will open up to you. That's how I'm going to close it.
I definitely agree with that. Well said.
Yeah.
Mike? The Mac.
I would be remiss if I didn't start off with gratitude, man. Thank you, all of you gentlemen, for the fellowship tonight, for the connection. Whenever you come to a new scene, there's that little social anxiety that comes along with it. But thank you for making me feel welcome, and thank you for what you've poured into me tonight. You definitely sharpened my saw. That comes from Stephen Covey. He touched upon it. He says one of the 7 habits of highly effective people is sharpen your saw. You don't take the time to do that for yourself. You don't cut with precision. You don't perform at a peak level. And sharpening your saw across different elements of your life, your spiritual, your physical, your mental, all essential. Sharpen your saw so that you can give back to others. Lead with your whole heart. And I'll just continue with the theme. Love one another as I have loved you is my favorite Jesus quote.
Amen.
And what did he do? Everything. He gave up his life for us. So if you think that you're giving too much to other people, you're probably not. Don't do it at your own detriment. But if your saw is sharp, you can cut with precision and you can serve hard. So serve hard out there, people.
Amen to that.
Lead and serve hard.
Well said, Mike. And Chris, we're going to jump to you, but I think he said that because like literally I have lights shining over my chainsaws back there, and they're all fully sharp.
they're sharp.
Yes.
And one
You've
takes.
seen your wood pile, pal. We know.
I might have an obsession about wood, but anyway, it burns wonderfully. So the point is, like, that's that. I will not run that saw unless it's sharp
There you go.
because it's inefficient. It's unproductive. My body's going to strain more. I'll get frustrated more, and I'll end up hurting myself and or whoever I'm trying to help. Let's say I'm cutting a tree for a friend. So, yeah, sharpen the saw, man. I love it, Chris.
I would say how much I appreciate being invited. And when I met you a few years ago, that you took the time to invite me, and I would tell you that although
I never gave up.
I'm the eldest here, I would say that I want the audience to really look at it and look at life and say, at any stage of life to continue to grow. And I think it's important to find people in different age groups, being that, I'm 64. I have mentors and people that I talk to that are in their 90s and 80s, that keep going. And I find the people that, and then when you're in my age group, meeting people that are in their 30s and 40s that are still hungry, what it does do is it keeps you hungry. I don't want to be hanging out with people as much as I like some of my that are talking about retirement. I want to focus on people that are looking to grow, and I want to see men and women that are older than me, that 10, 20 years older than me. So I would challenge the audience to really look around and look at people that you admire and ask them and walk up to them and tell them that you admire them and ask if you could ask questions. Because I personally have been very fortunate that I've had some wonderful mentors in my life. And maybe it's because I just had the confidence that I truly did admire them and just told them, I really like the way you think and I like what you've accomplished in life. Do you mind if I ask you some questions? So I would challenge the audience to look at people that that you admire, and tell them that and ask them if you can meet them, talk with them, being there's a cup of coffee, because that's how we're all going to grow. Surrounding yourself with good people. And then I would also make another statement. People will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. And if you have somebody that's treating you poorly, that makes you uncomfortable, and that when you look at your phone and they're calling you and you go, not now, I don't have time to listen to this now, because it's going to be, I'm a victim. There's nothing wrong with letting them know that, because they will continue to do that if you keep doing that. And there's nothing more important than taking care of your mind and surrounding yourself with the right people. So I would tell the audience to be cautious and take care of your mind as much as your body, because of the people you surround yourself with.
Awesome.
I've been using a quote like that for years. We are the product of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Some people call it the sum of, whatever you want to go with, the mathematics on that. The point is it's very, very true. That psychological shift when you start changing the people that are around you, and I've said this years ago, it doesn't mean you have to cut them out of your life. But if they don't respect that, if you respect them enough, that's what I just got at what you said. Yeah. Sum that up, respect. If you respect them enough and you want them to respect you in return, and you let them know that, and they still continue to not take that seriously, then you need to give them a break, because you're trying to grow so you can help them in the future, or those around you. And it's like, hey guys, I need to be on a pause. It's cool. So yeah, take the time. I love it. So, well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Great combo.
I'm going to sum this up. We're here to fuel your health, business, and lifestyle. All the gentlemen did that. So thank you for tuning in for a 6th Men of Mindset, and we'll see when and who shows up next. All right, guys. Have a great night. Take it easy.
Peace out.
Thank you.